Welcome back. A federal judge has thrown out a lawsuit by Alex Murdaugh looking to get legal fees from a former court clerk. The state Supreme Court ruled that the clerk, Becky Hill, whose misconduct led his murder convictions to be overturned on appeal. Murdaugh sued Hill in May, saying that she violated his right to a fair trial in the deaths of his wife and youngest son. But the judge said the case was flawed since Hill didn't bring up the charges against him. While his murder convictions have been overturned, Murdaugh is still in jail for financial crimes.
All right, so joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Colleton. Rhodes. The actual case, going to retrial aside, have people ever been successful in this kind of case where he sued her and wanted money back for her part in getting that retrial?
Well, these facts are obviously so far out there, and they're outlier type of facts that it'd be hard for me to find a case that was exactly like this. But have folks been able to get money back when someone else was the cause of their loss? 100%. And I follow the judge's reasoning. Even though it seems to be logically kind of a jump there, I do see the reasoning what the judge said. That first of all, she's not the prosecutor. She didn't bring this case against you. And so it's just like I talk about with our negligence cases: duty, breach, causation, and damages. Causation at sea is but for, are you the proximate cause of my injury? So in these types of cases, you have to do the same thing. You have to prove, look, there was some type of wrongdoing. Well, who was the person that did wrongdoing? Was it Becky Hill or was it the prosecutor? In this scenario, it was not Becky Hill, it was the prosecutor. If you're saying wrongdoing was having to defend yourself. So then the causation, was it but for Becky Hill's action that you had to spend the $600,000 in legal fees? No, you lost those $600,000 because now you have to redo this case. So how I look at the judge's reasoning is that it's not that you don't have a claim against her, it's just the claim isn't ripe now. Because that original claim, you would have had to spend $600,000 to defend yourself regardless, if that's what the legal fees were. So now you get a new trial, and that portion was because of Becky Hill. You get a new trial because but for her actions, you wouldn't have been found guilty, and now your trial was somehow tainted. Get a new trial. So now these second fees, right? The judge didn't go there, but those second fees at that time, I think the argument would be right, because now I wouldn't have had to pay for legal fees for a second trial, but you're asking for fees that you paid for a first trial. You already would have had to pay for those anyway.
So, Khalif, following that logic, regardless of how this second trial plays out, Alex Murdaugh would have a case against Becky Hill.
I think absolutely, following this judge's rationale, that if you're arguing that the reason you dismiss this case is because Becky Hill wasn't the cause, the proximate cause, that causation aspect, well, she's the cause of the second trial, and he said that. She's the reason you're getting a second trial. Well, when you get to that point and now you pay those legal fees, when you get to the end of that trial, you'll say, hey, how much did I pay for this second trial? What he's attempting to do is saying the only reason I have to have a second trial is because of her. And because of that, I should be able to now recoup the money from the first one. The judge, I would agree with his argument that you would have had to pay those fees regardless.
And if I may just ask a quick follow-up of Khalif, what is this instance where Alex Murdaugh doesn't have any money to pay for the second trial? Would he have any claim there if you didn't spend the money for the second trial to pay for those legal fees?
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is that the causation component here in the damages, going through the normal argument, wouldn't contemplate his inability to go forward as a rationale as to why he now deserves the money back for her stepping in. Those two, again, aren't causally connected. You paid these fees, and now you've run out of money because of other wrongdoing, because of your opioid addictions, because of your other pending lawsuits, because of your other convictions, because of your other trials. There's about 7 other reasons as to why you don't have the funds now. And so now to be able to make the jump that I should get money back from her because of her wrongdoing she did in my first trial, again, those are big jumps that you're trying to make, and you'd fall for sure like you did in this case.
So you're saying he can sue for legal fees down the road. Right now is not the right time. Is there anything else that he can sue her for in this instance? He's a lawyer. He's got good lawyers. What else do you think they could find, if anything?
I think this is the route. I think this is the mechanism. This was a 50-50 argument and I think if a judge would have ruled in his favor, she would have had a right to appeal. I think the judge got the standard right, which is causation. And so this is the mechanism which you would do that for going forward for sure.
Following, again, this ruling, which is really fascinating to break down the legalese of it, if Alex Murdaugh can't pay for this second trial, but his attorneys are coming out of pocket for it, would the attorneys have standing to bring a suit against Becky Hill?
Absolutely not, because she would not have been the proximate cause of their issue. The proximate cause, it would have been Alex Murdaugh.
So they could sue him.
I love it. Students are going at it right now in class. See, I would have you guys debating in class. No, I think in this scenario that yes, Alex Murdaugh would have to find a way to get legal fees to cover this cost. And there's opportunities out there to do that. Just now trying to find a way to do it after having multiple convictions and no really way of paying it back and likelihood of success at some type of trial being extremely low based on the way the first trial went. I think it would be hard to find some type of funding mechanism. But I can say that based on the reading of this judge's opinion and what we all saw play out, he would have an easy opportunity to get paid, but recoup his money from a second trial, just not the first one.
All right, Professor Rhodes, class is in session. Khalif, thank you so much.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.